Hi, welcome to Mocha Wave Talks. Here at Mocha Wave Publishing, we believe that everyone who reads has their own magic and the universe is a dragon's dream. I'm here today with Tirzah Darnell of Resilient Moon Creative, and we've been working feverishly trying to get her book, The Planet of Darkness, ready for publication. We've just finished a really strenuous editing process through that, and I've been glad to help you out with that and creating some illustrations, doing some really cool things. Today, I wanted to talk to her about her interesting characters.
One thing that's really important with sci-fi, especially dystopian space operas. So it's a space opera. You've heard about soap operas. Space operas are in a way are similar in that they have a lot of characters and a lot of things going on, different paths, different characters taking.
This is a dystopian sci-fi novel, and in this, people don't have names. Most of the characters don't have names.
Yes.
Right, and so they have numbers, and I really like what you did at the end. I'm really excited for y'all to see the illustrations she creates. So you can put a face to the number, and just kind of pulls you into this whole milieu of what, like, I'm not a number, I'm a free person, which is kind of like from The Prisoner, right? With Patrick McGowan from the 1960s, they had this idea of you take away a person's name, you take away their identity, you take away their freedom and their individuality.
Yes, like in my story, we have like Planet of Darkness and the Planet of Light. People are trying to get to the Planet of Light. In the Planet of Light, people actually have names. So, and that these are names with meaning. So it identifies yourself with the name.
Well, that's really cool. So you've gotten, not only you're given a name, but an identity and an individuality.
Yes.
And a purpose.
Yes.
I love that. I love that idea. And one thing before I go further, I want to show y'all, I was talking about on my Facebook page about the dark side and the light. And since we're talking about the Planet of Darkness, I'm going to go dark. How's that?
Yes. Yes.
Do I look really creepy?
Since we're talking about the Planet of Darkness, here we have it right here with us.
Planet of Darkness. Look out for the Dark Tyrant. He's going to be coming and taking over. So the Planet of Darkness in your book is just there's no light.
Yes, it's so far away from the sun that it doesn't have the benefit of the light. The only light it has is from molten lava pops out from all areas on the planet. So you never know when that molten lava might spew forth from the Planet of Darkness.
And the Dark Tyrant rules over it, right?
Yes, with his lava pool in front of his throne.
Oh, that's so creepy. It's exciting too. So it's like living on the brink of a volcano, right?
Yes.
It's just really, really very creepy. So let's talk a little bit about some of your characters in this creepy planet. And I'm all prepared with my dark hoodie. Okay, so the first character I'd like to ask about is 245. He seems to be kind of a main character. What do you think about 245?
Well, I personally consider him the main character. The whole story starts out with him. We're seeing his, from his perspective at the beginning. Not I personally, but we're very close to him at the beginning. But I do also I see kind of a triune of main characters. Each of these takes a different path in the first book. So we have 245. He's the main character. He's a propaganda specialist.
Oh, so they all have jobs, right?
Yes.
So they all have jobs and positions that they are kind of assigned to almost from birth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it's from birth.
And so it's like you're put on a path that you must follow.
Yeah, and you can't change that path. Unless, of course, sometimes like 245's sister, she was on the path to being an enforcer, which is like keeping control and fighting for the Dark Tyrant. But because they had money, they were able to take her out of that path.
So kind of like many dictatorships, right?
Yes.
If you have money and you put it the right places, the right people, you might get special privileges.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other part of that triune, I love that word, triune of characters, is 985.
Yes, 985.
So what kind of position does 985 have?
He starts out as a research assistant for an economic specialist, which is 2040, but we'll get to him later.
Okay.
But he's really focused on math and the order of math. He wants things to be in order. He wants to
everything needs to make logical sense.
Yes, right? Yes. And so at the moment, at the beginning in the story, what makes logical sense is doing what you're told and going by the Dark Tyrant's orders.
So that could be also a trap.
Yes.
That's interesting. And so we have 245, 985, and you have also written, I'm looking at the notes, 5083. So tell us a little bit about 5083.
He's a research assistant for a very cool persuader. Persuaders are those that work for the Dark Tyrant to get people to do what he wants them to do. So she's a very cruel persuader. She uses torture and whatever means necessary in order to get people to do what she wants them to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had a hard time sometimes reading because she does seem so vicious, right?
Yes.
So cold-blooded.
Yeah. So he's works for her. And so he is he gets a lot of that backlash from her.
So he doesn't, in the pictures that you've created of 5083, he doesn't look like a cruel person.
No, he doesn't follow her path that way, but because he has a lot as we'll see in the trailer, he has a lot of memories, things that he remembers from his childhood, things that he finds he treasures. But sometimes in order to do what is necessary, like her orders, he has to put those memories into boxes in his mind and try to forget those, but they're still there.
I think that he's a very well-developed character, and he deals a lot with, because you're working in a really dark situation, he deals a lot with depression.
Yes, and that is a very big part in the story. There's a focus on depression and finding a way out of depression.
That makes sense, with the Planet of Darkness trying to get to the light, trying to find that escape.
In fact, 5083, I feel a lot that there's a lot of me in him. And when I started writing The Planet of Darkness, I was going through a time of depression. So that you can see that in there. You can see how I'm working my way out of that depression by writing, writing.
That's amazing. I love it that writing can be a therapy, and it can also be a way to show other people how they can escape.
And that's one of the reasons I named my publication company Resilient Moon Creative, because resilient over different things that come your way, like depression or difficulty in finding out how to go forward or whatever,
like what path you're supposed to follow. All of these things that the world, the society throws at us, right?
The dark things in your path.
Yeah,
you can find a way out of those.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I think that is so cool that you did that. So with all of the characters you have, and I want to make sure we look at all of the main focal characters, they're all kind of intersecting with that thought of trying to get to the planet of light. They're somehow, right? Whether or not they are like 245, where they're just starting out, okay, I'm going to go to the planet of light, or else maybe along the way they find out, oh, maybe it's not so cool to stay here, right?
Yeah, and like in 245, one of the reasons that he is trying to find a way out is because he was working as a propaganda specialist, and he was seeing all the fakeness of the propaganda. That, okay, if we're using this as propaganda, is this real?
Okay, so finding what is truth.
Yes, what is truth?
That's a very philosophical question, like what is real? Because people tell us,
yes,
we were raised a certain way, we hear certain things, and sometimes we blindly accept it. Yes. Right? I like that. I like the fact that he's looking for truth. Okay, so let's look at each of the main characters. I'm going to go through this list you have. Sorry, I'm looking at a list. And I want us to say, what is their connection? Like when we look at the trailer, we get this kind of idea that there's a connection between each of the characters and the planet of light. There will need to escape from the planet of darkness. So let's look at 245. What are the two things that you would say about 245?
As far as the connecting to the escape to the planet of light,
Yes.
I would say that with him, he's looking, like you said, looking for truth, trying to find the reality, even though he's in some ways he ends up trying to hold on to the fakeness because his family is wealthy, so they want to keep their prestige.
So he has wealth.
Wealth and I guess wealth and truth.
Wealth and truth are the two things, and he's trying to find that truth, and yet maybe hold on to that wealth a little bit.
Yes, and
Right.
it takes him a while to be able to break free.
Let me have my cloak here. Keep me safe. Okay. So, and then 985.
That's logic.
So he's going to cling to that logic.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask because I think we haven't quite got there in the trilogy yet. But is there any connection he has with the planet of light? Or can you tell us that yet?
Well, there is something that him and 2040, which we're going to be talking about later. He's his one that he worked under, the economic specialist. There, he's on the side working on a light source. So that's going to give you a clue. The light source in the planet of darkness. They're trying to find a way to bring the light to the planet of darkness, but maybe it's not bringing it to the planet of darkness, but escaping from the darkness.
Oh, maybe he's trying to find another way to escape without actually committing to a full-on escape. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Okay, so then 5083, we talked about him. He's the one that has the depression, works for the really mean lady, right? So he's trying to forget memories.
Yes, but there's something in his memory that he needs to remember in order to find his way.
So he needs to be able to face
his past.
Face his past. Oh, wow. I like that. Facing your past. It's kind of hard to do sometimes.
It is. But remember your past. Remember that your past, even whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, it is part of you, who you are.
That is true. So we're also, a lot of that is identity again, going back to the, that idea of what makes you, what makes you your own person.
Yes.
I like 105.
Okay, yes. 105. She's awesome character.
Okay. So she's a pilot, she's tough, she thinks she can make it on her own, but she finds out she needs help.
Yes.
She needs other people, and we need a community, right? To survive. Okay. 2040. I like 2040 too.
Yes, that's 985 is his research assistant, but that's just 2040. This is the one he works for. And he's kind of, even though he's been put on a path, economic specialist, he wants to dabble in everything. So he wants to learn about everything. His quote sort of thing is there's with these 3 tools you can have almost immortality.
And like it's like he thinks he's in another plane.
Yes.
Right, like he's untouchable. They think like, oh, I'm so essential, they're not gonna harm me. But he thinks he has a plan, he's covered.
Yes, and he thinks he's pretty much superior to any of his any of the dictators like Dark Tyrant and them. He's smarter than them, but he's trying to go by the rules.
So I like this one. The slump bump girl. She's so cute.
Yes.
Slump bumps. I love that word. Yeah, I like the language you use in your Planet of Darkness and Planet of Light setting.
So slump bumps, they're mainly in the Planet of Darkness. The Dark Tyrant has decided he's putting everybody in these little categories, but there's a certain percentage of people on the Planet of Darkness that aren't really, in order to be everything to be balanced, they need to not do anything. So they are told they can't think, they can't work, they can't party. So they're just left in the kind of like a little muddy hovel type area where they just pass their time doing nothing, just existing, basically existing. And that's where she was put. She was put into that little muddy area with her hovel, but she still is dreaming, which the Dark Tyrant doesn't like people to dream. So she has a dream. And it develops into a wish. I love that. It develops into a wish. Yes, that's beautiful. And I think that
because you're a slump bump, you've been told you're one of the lowest echelon of society.
Yes, on the totem pole.
You're not worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't matter.
Yeah.
And yet somebody thinks she does matter. So many different ways you can look at this book. You could look at it from so many different angles and see all the different important messages.
Yes, I really like it where we have all these different characters, and I mean, you fans, I think it'll be interesting finding out who they go around trying to ship, and
Who do you want to see you get together? Oh, that's interesting. That would be really
yes,
cool.
it'd be fun.
Yes.
I want my fans to have some fun with this. And also I would like to see all sorts of backstories and stuff that people think of. And there is going to be a prequel that's going to be coming out at some point.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. So it's going to be a trilogy eventually, and hopefully book one, the City of the Dark Tyrant, is going to be coming out August, September.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometime very soon.
Yes, we got
Oh, and one
done.
character I almost forgot about that's a very important character, 113.
Oh, let's talk about 113.
Yes, he most of my fans, when they read about 113, he's almost everybody's favorite.
Wow.
Because he has such a
well, he's dark and people like dark, but he's charming dark,
right? Yes, and he delves into like the power within the planet to get magical powers. He works with these skeleton ghosts. So he has a very interesting, and he has a mentor named Tharavan, which he doesn't come in until near the end of the story, but he's very interesting too.
Yes. So that, and it's kind of, I feel like of all the characters, 113, I think it's interesting because it's easy to remember 113 with ghosts for some reason.
Yeah.
But with 113, he seems like he has a deep conflict.
Yes.
Right? And it's just really interesting to see. You think he's going to do one thing, and sometimes he'll do something surprising.
Yes. So he's a very complex character.
And I think that when I was reading it, I was editing it, bit by bit, line by line, I started seeing how complex and yet how well fit everything is. Like everything is well thought out. It's broad in scope, but everything fits together so well. So I really like that you did that. So let's close off our discussion with a look at the promo, just so you can start anticipating reading The Planet of Darkness very soon.